There are many reasons as to why the United States expanded during the 1800s through the 1860s. The three most important factors of creating the U.S. expansion is political, social, and economic beliefs. Hi, I am Natasha Loyola, and this is my podcast about the U.S. expansion between the 1800s through the 1860s. The economy during the 1800s basically depended on the agriculture and industrialization of the United States. In the beginning, the production of cotton was a dying business, but Eli Whitney changed the business forever with the invention of the cotton gin. In 1793, the cotton gin revolutionized the cotton industry in the United States. It used to take hundreds of slaves to separate a seed, but with the invention of the machine, it could generate up to 50 pounds of clean cotton daily, making the production of cotton profitable for the southern states. With the production of cotton booming, this meant more slaves and more land. Then, the technological inventions like the steamboat, railroad, and telegraph made communicating and traveling a lot easier for many colonists. Another reason why many started to believe in expanding towards the west. Americans moved with relative ease into new regions and soon produced an agricultural surplus that changed them from subsistence farmers into commercial producers. Manufacturing became an increasingly important sector of the economy and set the stage for rapid industrialization in the late 19th century. In 1803, the Louisiana Purchase was a big success. Lewis and Clark was sent on an expedition to check out the new real estate. They found out that had fertile land and good for foreign markets, causing many colonists to move out west. The War of 1812 was because the Indians were angered by the Louisiana Purchase. They wanted their land that they thought was rightfully theirs, and the United States was angered by the British who were aiding the Indians. The seventh president, Andrew Jackson, had a plan. He wanted the removal of all Indians to the west side of the Mississippi River. With no Indians in the way, the United States citizens realized that they had an obligation to spread the country from sea to shining sea, this being called Manifest Destiny. The two political parties, the Whigs, who were strongly against the expansion, and expansionist Democrats, who didn't really know how much land should be expanded or how it could be done. But on the other side, the expansionists argued that the republic must continue to grow in order to survive. Far from weakening the republic, they argued territorial growth would actually serve to strengthen it, providing unlimited economic opportunities for future generations. The South wanted new slave states. This would enhance the South's political party in Washington, and equally important, serve as an outlet for its growing slave population. But the Missouri Compromise, the Compromise of 1850, and the Kansas-Nebraska Act helped to keep the free states and slave states equal, even though it didn't solve the big problem of slavery. Another conflict we had was with Mexico. The Louisiana Territory wasn't enough, so many settlers crossed the Mexican border. Texas is where many raised big cattle on a huge land. In 1845, Texas gained independence and became a state in the Union. Next was California. Many went over there, but the Mexican War during 1846 to 1848 was because our President Polk wanted California, even if it meant war. In 1848, the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo gave us California, Arizona, and New Mexico and Utah. The last two territories was the Oregon Country, which Britain created a treaty so we would have no problems, and the Gadsden Purchase, in which Mexico needed money and gave us a territory, completing the United States at that time period. The social beliefs, like religious, is a perfect example of Utah. Salt Lake City was settled by Mormons seeking religious freedom in 1847. The North believed slavery was wrong, but the South had many reasons as to why slavery was right. The South believed in aristocracy, and everyone hoped to be that someday. The aristocracy had the most money and made most of the cotton. That is why they supported expanding west. Many Southerners also agreed about expanding just to be like the aristocracy someday. On the other hand, the Northerners who supported abolition believed that expanding the free states would mean the end of slavery. Instead, Congress agreed to even free states and slave states, but depended on popular sovereignty, which states, sovereignty of the people, the state is created by the will or consent of its people. From slavery to profits, the expansion of the United States was based on economic, political, and social aspects. Slave versus free states was just so one could overpower the other one in Congress. To have more cotton and more slaves, the South needed more land. New land creates more opportunities for other groups, like the Mormons, and more land means our republic would become more stronger. All of these help to create the most important expansion in United States history.